Start in the name of Allah, who is merciful and most beneficent. Dear students, today we are going to discuss major objections of Colredge against Wordsworth poetry. This is the last topic of our this section of Colredge. So we are going to discuss that what are the major objections of Colredge against Wordsworth poetry. As earlier we have discussed theory of poetry, poetic diction, and we have discussed Wordsworth, and today we are going to discuss objection of Colredge towards Wordsworth poetry. So first of all, the first objection is objection to poetic diction. That was the first objection which was being marked by Colredge. Colredge asserts that Wordsworth has argued in favor of reform in English poetic diction in his preface to Lyrical Ballad. This very praiseworthy task and effort, but he is different from Wordsworth in certain respects. On his object of poetic diction, he points out that the proper diction for poetry must be conversational, common in accordance with Wordsworth. Yes. सबसे पहला एतराज़ पोइटिक डिक्शन के ऊपर था. उन्होंने कहा कि वर्ड्सवर्थ का जो पोइटिक डिक्शन है वो ठीक नहीं है. इट शुड बी द रेलिवेंट वन अकॉर्डिंग टू द Colredge. Colredge has some sort of objection on Wordsworth poetry, and the first objection is objection to poetic diction. The proper poetic diction for poetry in general consists in altogether in a language taken with due exceptions from the mouth of men in real life. Yes, this is the some sort of thing which is Colredge is accepting, and he is saying that the proper diction for poetry in general consists in altogether in language taken with due exceptions from the mouths of men in real life. He is saying that something should be there, but it should be different from the something practical and the real one from the common man mouthpiece. It should be, obviously a writer should be different one from the general one, from the common man. And the same thing is there. Colredge is saying that mouthpiece of a common man should be a different one and the writer should be a different one. So that is the first objection. And the second objection is the failure of Wordsworth expertment. Yes, this is a very important and a very objection towards Wordsworth. He is saying that Wordsworth is not having expertise towards poetry. This is accordingly the Colredge. The failure of Wordsworth expertment is another objection of Colredge against Wordsworth. Colredge regard Wordsworth theory of poetry, or especially theory of poetic style, as a false or goodlessness or baselessness. The faults of Wordsworth poetry theory as this was the very important. That on the other hand, if you think that what is your name? Tasneem and Nafisa are good friends, and one is objecting that you are not loyal to me and you are not good friend with me. So same is the case here, that he is saying that you are not expert in poetry. This is a very huge, you can say, object on a Wordsworth. Yes, and he is saying that some sort of objection, violation of poetic theory by Wordsworth himself. He is saying that Wordsworth has violated the theory of poetry according to the Colredge. Colredge is saying that Wordsworth has violated the theory of poetry. This is also another objection. The inconsistency of style. Yes, Colredge goes to point out, enumerate the defects in Wordsworth poetry. He thinks that Wordsworth poetry does not possess constancy at all. Yes, and some sort of style is also a problem with the Wordsworth according to the Colredge. He is saying that style which is peculiar to poetry, the style that is only appropriate to prose. These are some sort of objection. He is saying that the style that is only appropriate to prose, that should be very relevant with the poetry, and the style which is neutral or common to both poetry and prose, the style should be common within the poetry and prose according to the Colredge, and he has objected on the Wordsworth. The next one is the matter of factness. According to Colredge, in certain poems of Wordsworth, the matter of factness is the most significant defect. It means laborious minuteness and fidelity in the representation of objects and their position, or it refers to the introduction of accidental circumstances into a poem in order to give a fuller explanation of the characters and the temperaments. Yes, preference for the dramatic form. Yes, this is another objection. Colredge is saying that Wordsworth is going for the preference for the dramatic form. On the other hand, he is objecting on the poetry, and he is saying that Wordsworth is going towards the drama. Okay, and he is saying that Wordsworth is focusing on drama, but he is objecting on the other hand for the sake of poetry. This is another objection. Mental boostment. Yes, lastly, Colredge points a defect which he describes as thoughts and images too great for the subject. Colredge illustrates his fault by mentioning 2 or 3 poems such as I Wander Lonely as a Cloud, Gypsies, and the Immorality Ode. In case of the Immorality Ode, Colredge quotes those lines in which Wordsworth addresses a 6-year child as, "Thou best philosopher, thou I among the blind, might prophet, seer blessed." Now the question in accordance with the Colredge is how much such expansion could have been used for a child. So this is nothing but the mental boomance of the Wordsworth. He is saying that something mental should be there. What the things are you are using for the 6-year child, and why you are choosing that sort of lines. And on the other hand, he is saying that if you are going to criticize the society, if you are going to elaborate the point, if you are going to illustrate the things, if you are going to point out the things, then how your mental assessment is there? This is a very important question, and it is being intermingled with the imagination. As earlier we have discussed that how much imagination will be strong, the poetry will be strong. So same is the case here. Colredge has objected the same thing, that mental assessment should be something that you are going to relate something with the 6-year child, and on the other hand you are going to discuss nature and other fundamental aspects. Thank you.